Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished, surprisingly, to some people. It's finished Leeds United 3, Chelsea nil. And I mean, it's a very bad performance from Chelsea. It was Manchester United levels bad, I would say, from Chelsea. Because if United put in that performance, I think there would be there would have definitely be a big introspection. And I do think there will be introspection in this performance from Chelsea as well, because nothing went right for them today. Absolutely nothing seem to go right. Again, and a good stat as well is that I think Leeds ran about 12, 13 kilometers more than Chelsea in this game. Again, something that you associate with other teams. You don't generally associate that with Chelsea, but just looked flat today. Just looked strangely. Didn't look like, and I wonder if the absence of Kante is what kind of did that for them because it just felt like they were not sure what they wanted to do, how they want to play. I think Tuchel got a few things wrong as well. I don't think Conor Gallagher should be playing in that sort of central midfield role. I don't think that's his best position to play as part of a midfield two. If you're going to play him, you're going to have to play him in a midfield three. And I don't think Mount Gallagher and Jorginho is going to work. So you need somebody much more stronger than Jorginho if you're going to play Mount in a midfield two or even a midfield three. I just think that didn't make sense. And then Gallagher just looked overwhelmed. He didn't look like he knew what he was trying to do. I mean, I think Leeds also identified him as a weakness. And so they kept trying to press him. And it just didn't work for Gallagher today. Hopefully he learns from it and he comes back stronger. Might have been worth switching as well. Maybe try Mount as a central midfield and then Gallagher up front. That might have been better, maybe. But I mean, ultimately, Leeds just had the measure of Chelsea. They were pressing high up the pitch, and not just that they were pressing high up the pitch, but they knew exactly the players to target. They knew when to go, when to hold back. They got it all spot on. The Marsch got it completely spot on today in terms of how he set Leeds up, and I think Chelsea just had no answer to it. And the warning signs were there; they were just happening all the time. With Chelsea losing the ball, or Chelsea being caught out of position, or sometimes Leeds doing fast turnovers. And then that goal from Mendy. I mean, what a bad error from Mendy. And again, what's happening? Somebody said, well, maybe the Chelsea defense could have pushed a little bit further back to kind of help him out. I think what happened is he got that first part right. Actually, Mendy, he was trying to do basically, do a dummy. He got that part right. He got the dummy right. None of the people will say he got that dummy right. The problem is he didn't know what to do. He was like, okay, I'm going to do a dummy, but then he didn't get the distance on that touch as much as he got. So basically, what happened was then he was like, okay, well, I didn't get the touch, and so it kind of hit his second leg, so it kind of got stuck there. And then he's got to figure out what he's going to do. And Aaronson had great reactions because he kind of knew, okay, there's a dummy, and then the next part, and he did that quickly. I think that's where the ball got stuck, and they speak. You should never have tried to attempt it. Of course, in the first place, he should just try to clear it out, but he couldn't do it because I think he tried to move the dummy, it didn't come off. It's a goal. And I think from that one on Chelsea just kind of lost belief a little bit. Mendy has been having issues, by the way, since last season. He's not looked the goalkeeper, the solid goalkeeper that won them the Champions League for a long time now. I don't know what the solution is. I don't think Kepa is the answer, but that's a massive concern for Chelsea in their top four fight. If they're going to get top four, I don't think they can carry Mendy for as long as they have. So he needs to have the buck up, but they need to think of an alternative because that this is really not working out right now in the way that they want. Koulibaly for me had a bad game, really bad. I'll talk about him in a second, but that first yellow card was just to get a yellow card in the 8th minute kind of shows how bad Chelsea really were under pressure because they're just struggling to get out. They're struggling to do anything. Some people might say, well, why did they play out in the back? They didn't need to play out in the back. The problem was without a proper target man, they're never going to be able to not play out in the back because if you're going to beat a press, you got two ways. You can either trust yourself that you're going to be able to play out the back and then exploit the spaces that are left between the lines, or you're going to need a strong target man where you can play the ball up, he can hold it, and then get other people into play. Chelsea didn't have the second option. They don't have a target man, and I think that's something that's going to be a big concern. Beyond needing a centre back, they will probably need to get a striker because without a proper hold up, they're always going to struggle against teams that have the high press, particularly because their defense is so old. But without the target man, they had to do it. So they had to keep playing out from the back. And the problem was the players that they have probably aren't that adept at playing out from the back. And so that was the issue. The second goal, actually, the second goal, I didn't think that was a foul. I know people get lost in that analysis, and I don't think that, it's a big deal, but that wasn't a foul from Sterling. And definitely was a yellow card for Sterling. I think the referee kind of just got caught up because there was a lot of, antsy things happening. The crowd were getting a little bit agitated. The players were getting a little bit agitated. So I think he thought, okay, I'm just going to give it a yellow card here to calm everybody down. I think that's what he did. He gave a yellow card to Sterling for a foul that really wasn't a foul and just to let a bit of a marker down. but that wasn't a foul. And the sad part is the goal came from that for Chelsea. It was poor marking. It was poor marking from Chelsea. Again, Gallagher caught sort of in between no man's land. I thought Reece James could have done better. But to be honest, you can't leave Rodrigo. He's the striker. You don't put Reece James on the striker. You get Koulibaly or you get Silva to mark him. I don't know why they were not marking him. They just left him. And Rodrigo was like, okay, thank you very much. And then he gets a goal. At 2-0, you kind of knew Chelsea weren't going to win the game. I mean, the goal scoring has been an issue for a long time for Chelsea. And again, it was the case here. What was interesting to sum it up was that they had a couple of chances, one-on-ones. They missed, the goalkeeper saved them. They were both offside though. They were offside anyway, but they still couldn't finish. I mean, that for me, that sums up where Chelsea really were in this game. It was pretty sad to watch. And the third goal was almost, and I said, because like Manchester United levels bad. That that first goal is Manchester United level bad. The third goal is also Manchester United level bad because they gave away the ball in midfield, which is something you associate United. Leeds go up the field. It's a nice little cross from Dan James. And after that, it's all about that touch from Rodrigo, which he lays it off. And it's a good reaction from Jack Harrison. Well done. And he gets a nice little connection. It's 3-0. But Chelsea just got all at sea. At that point, 3-0. It was a very poor. I don't think the 3 goals conceded was the issue. I think they're just so poor that it just never looked like winning the game. I think that is something that will concern Thomas Tuchel. The fact that they never looked like winning that game. And then the red card for Koulibaly. Now I said about the yellow card. I think Koulibaly today got a taste of what the Premier League is like, and he got found out. I think he got found out. I'm not saying he's a bad defender. I'm not saying he's going to be a flop. What I'm saying is today, I think he's found out the difference between the Premier League and Serie A. Because up until now, I think he's had a pretty easy ride. I mean, Everton and all sorts of bothers. So there was not that much of a challenge. I think against Spurs, Chelsea really played very well. Actually, they had a very high intensity. They played with a lot of fervor. Conte, by the way, is one of the few managers in the Premier League who does not play with high intensity pressing. He doesn't play that way. So again, it was a little bit of an easy introduction for Koulibaly. I'm not saying they were easy games. I'm saying they were easy introductions in terms of pace. But I think this game was a complete culture shock because Serie A never has a team that plays with this kind of intensity that Leeds play with. And I think he struggled with that. He struggled a lot. And this is something that's going to be a norm rather than one-off. This is something that he's going to face a lot in this season. And the question is, can he adapt to that? Can he step up to that? He's going to have to figure that out. He's going to actually miss the next game, so he'll have a week off and he'll have to figure out how he's going to work on that. But this was a bit of a wake-up introduction for Koulibaly, and he failed that first test. It's just the first test. He failed it. Hopefully he comes back stronger. But that red card was so daft. I mean, again, he's on a yellow card. The 3-0 down, it's not going to get much worse. He really didn't need to do what he did, but I think it was just frustration. I think it was just frustration at the fact that he was losing that battle, that he had lost that battle. Rather, it was frustration at his own performance probably, and then he just goes and gets a red card, and that just was sad. And more sad was the fact that they don't really have a lot of options in defense. So to lose a player like that is something sad. But on the other hand, it might just accelerate the move for Wesley Fofana from Chelsea. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, ultimately, you got to say Chelsea were really bad. You got to say Leeds had the game plan and they executed it perfectly. I think everybody at Leeds knew what they were doing. Jack Harrison for me was brilliant. Rodrigo was brilliant. Aaronson was excellent. So you can't really, say that you can't really fault Leeds. And I mean, it was just Chelsea handed them the initiative by Mendy doing what he did. And sometimes, that's what it is. You get one and it opens up the floodgates. So a poor performance, a poor day at the office for Chelsea. Hopefully they can recover and do in the next game. But now I think there's a lot of introspection that Thomas Tuchel will need to do, and he'll need to decide the kind of players that he wants to buy in the transfer market. Anyway, let me know in the comments. What do you think about Chelsea's performance? What do you think about Leeds' performance? And do you think what's the way back to improve? What changes does Tuchel need to make? Does he need to get away from the back three? I mean, that's a question that at some point, because somebody's going to have to ask that question. So does he need to get away from that back three? As well, let me know in the comments. What do you think? And do smash a like for Leeds. Smash like for that brilliant performance from Leeds. Jesse Marsch, fantastic tactical acumen in this game. Completely schooled Tuchel, I feel. So do smash a like for Leeds and for Jesse Marsch, right? And of course, remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. We're going to go do a couple more match reaction shows today. So when you subscribe, you do get notified as they drop. So please do that. We, of course, appreciate your support and growing this channel. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following and subscribing. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.